Welcome back, everybody, to the Small Town Collectibles YouTube channel. I'm Jimmy Don Kerr. I'm super excited about my guest today. Followed this guy for a while. He's actually one of the very first people that shouted me out on YouTube when I started my channel. I didn't know what a shout out was. And this guy reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'd like to shout out your channel." So I'm super excited to have him on. Probably has one of the best game shows on YouTube. Like I said, I can't wait to get into this conversation. So let's just get to it. So everybody join me in welcoming to 10 questions from the Just a Rican and His Comics YouTube channel, my man, Rod The Rican.
What is going on, gang? How you doing, sir? Jim, what's going on, bro?
I'm good, brother. How you doing today?
Doing well, man. Doing well. The weather looks nice here in Florida, and I'm ready to rock and roll, man. I'm excited to do this. I know we've been planning to book this for about a week or two already, and then things come up. We had to push it back, and finally, here we are, man.
Here we are,
Let's
man.
do this.
I'm so excited, man. I'm so happy to have you on. I'm a big fan of your channel. So we'll start you off with the number one question on 10 questions, and that is, what or who got you into comics?
Well, it all started. Man, I used to collect comics, as a kid, my brothers and stuff like that. And then I just stopped completely. But how I got back into it was, I've said the story before. Back in 2016, around that time, I was thinking about getting it back into comics. And I have a good friend that I work with, and he's been a collector for a long time. So I was like, I'm going to talk to him. I want to get back into comics. Just never got around to it. But then our house got broken into, and they took some stuff, and I just needed to just clear my mind. I told the wife, I said, I'm going to go hang out with my friend Danny, and I want to go to the comic book store. And I said, well, what's my spending limit? So here I am thinking comics are still either $1.99 or $1.25, right?
Right.
So she goes, just 150, 200. I'm like, are you crazy? I'm not gonna spend that much. So we went to one shop, and fortunately they were doing they had some dollar books. So I picked up a stack of Fantastic Four dollar books, and it was a nice little stack. So from there we went to another shop, and then that's where I was like, Danny, I don't know what to get. And he's like, the new book here. I feel like a kid in the candy store. I was like, I don't know what to do. So he's like, well, these are the new ones here. What are you into? I was like, well, I like Flash. I was really into Flash. Not no more. I'm a Daredevil fan now, guys. You know that.
Yeah, man.
So he was like, well, here's the Flash book. So I picked up the newest Flash book. That was the Rebirth era. And then I went to the back issues, and I picked up like mostly everything. So I checked out. The guy was like, man, you got a lot of reading to do, man. I was like, yeah. After some bags and boards, my spending limit was a little higher than 150, should I say. I didn't tell the wife that. I just let it be. But holy coconuts, man, I dropped a nice penny that day, man. So that's how I got back into comics.
It's really funny that you say that. Like, your story is very similar to mine as far as Amy and the girls had wanted to go shopping one day, and my office is in a city called Pikeville, Kentucky. So that's where my business is. And there's a comic book shop there, and I knew it was there, and I'd seen it, and I was like, I used to love comics. I'd like to go back in there. And so one day I took them up there, and they were going shopping, and I told Amy, I'm going to run over here to the comic book store and just check it out. I said, I haven't been there forever. So it was right when Rebirth came out. It was right when Rebirth was starting. And so I picked up some Superman and some Batman. I think I picked up a little Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash. I love that initial Flash run in Rebirth. And so, yeah, that's almost exactly how I started back, because I just happened to venture in the comic book store. And I'm like you, I dropped $100 and didn't even realize what I'd done.
Yeah, and it's like nowadays, I go on a Wednesday, I could drop, oh man, hopefully the wife don't watch this, but I could drop 40, 50 bucks. I dropped about almost 80 one time. And then I pre-ordered certain books, just to save a couple bucks. But if you do the math, You know, that's a lot of money. But you got to make sure your bills are paid and the utilities are
Right.
paid and all that stuff. So if you got the money, spend it, and that's it, man.
Yeah, man, that's that disposable income. So, question two is: are you a reader or a collector? Like, do you just collect books, or do you read everything that you buy?
I read everything that I buy, and there's certain times where I could buy 13 books, and it will take me to the new comic book day to finish my books. So I
Sure.
go probably a week to finish my books, and then if I go to the shop on Wednesday, I'll pick up some more. But I'll make sure I read what I picked up the week before I get into any new books. But I've been a lot better, man, because back in the day, man, it was just I was always behind. People just crack on me all the time. Rod is always behind on his reading, so not no more, man. I'm pretty caught up with my books nowadays. But I am, I'm a collector too. I like to collect my books and looking at all my stuff here, and this it's just nuts what I got and
Well, I
all
do too.
this
Like
stuff.
my vision when I'm looking at are a bunch of short and long boxes are sitting right across from me, and it's hard to believe that essentially 5 years ago I've accumulated all this.
Yes,
I
I
said
agree
it's
with you.
crazy.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird because this room that I am in Florida, a lot of people know that it's a sunroom. So if you see all the light, it's because it's all glass, and I have to cover everything up with blinds. And it was a baseball room. I'm a Phillies fan, so
Mm-hmm.
everything around here is it still is all baseball Philly related things. But man, when the whole comic book stuff came, there I am buying tables. I got 3 tables in here, and it's all short boxes, and I'm running out of room. Now you see me move my table like this before we started the show. I don't know where to go, man.
I feel you, brother. I said it is. It's so crazy, and it does because there's so many books that come out each week. Like I feel like I want to read. That my pull list is stupid right now. Like it really is. It's crazy. The books that I pull. So you said you're a Phillies fan. Where did that? Were you always? Did you always live in Florida? Like where does that Philly fandom come from?
Well, I was born and raised in Philly. I got the whole Rod the Rican, the Rican Puerto Rican part comes from my parents from Puerto Rico, so I got that Rican blood in me. So I got to represent that. So born and raised in Philadelphia, I moved down to Florida in 2007. So, but I'm here because of the family. A lot of people just moves down here. You know how it is. But man, this heat doesn't do it for me, man. I love the code, but I'm just the total opposite from this weather stuff here in Florida.
Well, Philly's not that far from me.
Okay.
Like yeah, in geographically, it's really not that far. It probably takes 4 or 5 to 6 hours to get there, but it's really not that far. And my favorite team growing up was the Atlanta Braves because I've said it 1,000 times. We had 4 channels. One of them was TBS, and the Atlanta Braves played on there, and they sucked. But my favorite player in the world, I'm part of the Dale Murphy generation. Um,
Oh, okay.
and then Dale went over and played for the Phillies, so I kind of
Mhm.
followed him over to the Phillies, for a while. And then you have Pete Rose, who played for the Reds, which is probably our local team. Um, he was over there. Then Mike Schmidt was awesome. So I got some Phillies love. I was just kind of wondered, kind of where that came from. All right, so question 3: why'd you start a YouTube channel? I don't know exactly when you started or how long ago it was. I'm not really sure. So kind of tell me your YouTube journey and why you started.
It was all pretty much it was a joke. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking see nowadays on Facebook they'll tell you, oh, 2 years ago, look at this what you posted. And I saw something today where it said 2 years ago, and I posted something with John Comics for Kids. So I assume that I've been doing YouTube for at least a little over 2 years now, just because of what I've seen this morning. Excuse me. So what started as a joke was I was sleeping over at my buddy's house, and our other friend was there, ASM 129, who was battling stage 4 colon cancer. Love you, bro. Keep fighting, man. And we woke up, we were talking comics, and I said, man, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I'm just gonna name it Just a Rican and His Comics. They started laughing, and it was we just laughed. It was funny. And then I was like, wait a minute, but I like the sound of that. I wanna see what I can do with this. So picked up some comic books, and I just put them on the table and grabbed the phone, just like this, and I just flipped through them. It was like maybe 10 books. The video was like 30 seconds long. It was hot garbage water. The video was a piece of crap. I'll tell you right now. Go back and look at it. And that was the first video I ever posted. And then I saw it got like a couple views. I was like, well, it's there. I gotta take off of this thing. And next thing upgrade a little bit. Then I start putting more books, and I start flipping through the pages, showing the art, talking. Now I'm talking, and I'm like, all right, I see people are watching this, and where can I go with this? And then you go from not showing your face to showing your face. And my first video I did when I went live, that was crazy because I kept pushing off. It was Jeffrey Comic Con Vincent. And he messaged me, yo, let's do a live show together. Let's do a live show together. And I was like, all right. And so one day we were just going back and forth. And I said, I got the name of it. I got the name of the channel for the show. What is it? I said, Coast to Coast Comics. And I said, you're from the coast and I'm from the coast. Let's do the Saturday shows. We did that. And that's how the live shows began. And here I am. I don't even know. I got 1,600 followers, but it's nuts, man. It's nuts where the community just dig what you do. And
yeah, it really is. Like same thing. I started the channel kind of on a whim, as to prove something to my daughters that you could, and then, like I said, just kind of fell in love with doing it. And I never dreamed. Like I thought, if I get 50 subscribers, I'll be killing it. Now I'm at like 700. It's like that's just hard to believe to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just hard to believe. And I really have. I've kind of become part of this massive community, including you and Bearded and a lot of other people that, I don't know, there's just something pretty awesome about it. And it's surprising how quickly it happens, too, as far as the sub count goes.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you build a relationship with these guys. It's mind-blowing. You mentioned Bearded. What a guy he is. Oh, my God. And for him to find time to hang out with me on my shows, a family guy, 2 kids, and he does his thing on Lame or Frame, which is just, I don't know how he finds the time to do it. And relationships I built with John Comics with kids. I mean, talk there. I could pick up the phone, call him, and his kids would pick up the phone. I gotta be careful because sometimes I would be like, yo, say something, But I mean, they'd be like, hey, Rod, I'm in the, oh, hey, how you doing? Are you behaving in school? And go, yes, Rod. So it's just, it's neat, man. It's neat.
Cool. All right. So question 4, and I want to talk a little bit about your shows. The first one, like I said early on when we kind of started, is the first person that really shouted me out was you. I didn't even really know what a shout out was. You just shot me a message on Instagram and said, hey, I'd like to shout out your channel. Kind of tell me a little bit about you, what you're doing. And I was like, man, cool. All right, this is awesome. So I go and watch. And so how did that show start? Like what was the idea behind it? And then how important do you think shout out shows like that and shouting out the community, how important do you think that is?
The whole show started, I remember one Sunday morning, I was laying there in bed, and the wife is looking at me. I'm just looking up at the ceiling. She goes, what are you thinking about? I said, I could do a lot more. She goes, what do you mean? I said, the other day, Comic Tom gave me a shout out. And she goes, I remember that. I recorded it on my phone. I still have it to this day because I was the first person that ever gave me a shout out. That had to be over 2 years ago. And she goes, what do you have in mind? I was like, if he gave me a shout out and recognized me, why I cannot do that for other people in the community? And that's how I started. The first couple videos on the Sunday was recorded videos, and I would post a picture of their IG account, and then I just said, what the heck with this, man, I'm going live, and everything I did was live. And I'm telling you, man, when I give these shout outs, a lot of people think like that's no big deal, but the response I get afterwards, the messages I get afterwards, and it's like, dude, thank you so much. I didn't think that you like my channel or these people would check me out, and next thing you know, I shouted out this channel, and that channel's hanging out with this channel on a live show, and it started growing. I remember one guy, uh, Varangian and Vigilante.
Mm-hmm.
He came on the show. No one knew him, and boom! Next thing you know, the guy's just everywhere, just hanging out, man. And my wife was like, I don't know, she's looking at him. I was like, yeah, he's a good looking guy. He's got some nice cool hair. I was like, relax. I'm like, he's got a good accent too. I said, so, and she starts laughing at me, and I was like, just get away. But it's a cool thing to find these guys, especially the smaller guys, because they like to get a little spotlight. And I mean, they put out the hard work. They may not get the views that they want, and at times you can get like, what the heck? I'm putting out a great video. I'm not getting no views. What's going on? So a little shout out could go a long way. So
Absolutely. And what you said is 100% true because, I mean, I've had people on 10 questions that I actually met through the Sunday Shoutout Show. Like, yeah, I mean, like I'll specifically, one person specifically is Jennifer from Comics Will Break Your Heart. I met her through your show. Just one day watching your show on a Sunday, and she was on there, so I subbed her up and shot her a message. Went and watched one of her videos, and now her show, her and Mars do on Sundays, their casually comic chat. The review of the comic books is like required viewing for me. I listen to it every single Monday, and that happened because of your show and what you do. And so I think that's really cool. And there's been several people. Bearded, I think I met through yours. There's been a bunch of people. So I love it, man. I think that's awesome. So question 5 is, how did you come up with Lamer Frame? Like, I got to know, because look, that is one of the funnest shows to watch, and 2, to be on. It's really hard. Like, people don't realize how hard it is to draw that stuff in 2 minutes.
Yep.
Like, it's really, really difficult. But it's a lot of fun. Like, I had a freaking blast. Like, I was so nervous. When I interviewed Dustin from Two Brothers, I told him, I said, number one, I was a big Dustin fan, right? So I was a little nervous because I was going to be on there with Dustin. Then I was going to be on there with you. And then I was going to have to draw. Like, I was really quiet. Like, I was so nervous. And then as it got going on, I started talking trash to everybody. But I got to know how Lamer Frame like came to be.
All right, so it all started. It was right before COVID hit. I was doing a show called Buy or Pass, and it was where myself, Perry Comics, and my buddy that we lost last year, Edwin the Comic Jabroni, and that how that show started was a different story too. But I said, but COVID was coming around the corner, and Diamond had their issues with comic books. So we kind of like, so what's going to happen now? If we don't got comics, what can we talk about? So we kind of parted our ways a little bit, and we just let Buy or Pass be, and it was whatever. We're not going to do it if we can't have any comics. So I said, I got to come up with something, right? So I did like 2 more episodes of Buy or Pass. It was not really much comics, but I just brought in a bunch of guys. Diggy Shack was there, Old Wolf. And I don't know what happened, but somebody grabbed a piece of paper and we started drawing. And I was like, well, damn, we're having a good time doing this. So I was thinking, the boy who has 7, Matt. So Matt was doing comic gories with John. So I said, he's got comics, I got drawing. So I reached out to Matt. I said, Matt, I have a question if you don't mind, because I don't like to step on anyone's toes. So I said, Matt, when I asked for permission, you got your comic gories with comics. I came up with an idea of drawing, something like yours, but we give these guys 2 minutes to draw. We give the chat a minute or 30 seconds to vote. We come up with different themes and different mediums to draw. He's like, Rod, just do it, man. I dig it, man. So, and the rest is history. I think then COVID really hit, so everyone's pretty much quarantined. So we were like, people just wanted to hang out, and it was just a way to escape. It is a way to escape still, because we laugh and have a good time, and that's the most important thing about the show. You know, you work 8 hours if you do or not, and then you hang out on the show, and we try to bring in new people in the community and just draw and have a good time, laugh, bust your balls, and just and you grow the community that way too, man. So
100%. Like it is so much fun, man. And like, how did Bearded become a part of it? Was he there from the beginning, or did that kind of happen as the show went on?
it just happened as the show went on. And the funny thing is, the name Lame with Frame, Captain Comics came up with that name because after a couple shows that we did, he was like, just name it, Lame with Frame. And I was like, all right, whatever. Lame with Frame it is, you know? And that was it. But I forget how Beardy got on board. I think he came on the show, maybe the draw. I can't really remember, but
Well,
man,
the thing is he's a hoot. Like it is, like it just all works, right? Like
yeah,
you and then Bearded, like it just works. And like I said, it's a ton of fun to actually watch because a lot of times people like me can't draw to save your life, and and then you're having to draw with crayons. So it's a trip, and it is. But it is so much fun. Like I said, I laughed. I met a bunch of people that night that I'd never met before. Simple Simon and I had followed each other a while, but I'd never actually met Simple Simon. So it was really cool. Like, so I think that is a testament to how good your channel is. Cause like I said, that is like must see viewing for me, so
man.
there's certain channels, there's certain things that I watch. Like I said, with Jennifer and Comics Will Break Your Heart, Lame Reframe in the mix with DJ Links. There's certain things that I watch and that are set up that I have to watch every week, and Lame Reframe is one of them. And so I think that's awesome. And I love how the name, because I think the name's genius. Like lame, is this lame or do we frame it?
Exactly.
I think it's genius, and it just some dude was just like, call it Lame Reframe. You're like, okay.
I mean, no one thought it was going to last this long. We just celebrated our 1 year anniversary, and Bearded Comic Bro put that package video. I swear, I had no idea what was going to happen on that Tuesday. I was planning already what to do. He goes, "Oh no," he goes, "No, it's already done. I got the people for the show," and I was like, "Right, because I got to prep to find people that want to draw." And he's like, it's taken care of. And when that video dropped, man, that put me to tears, man. I mean, I'm not, hey, everyone knows me. I'm not shy to shed a tear. I've done it multiple times, but I'm just real, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. But no, like I said, I love it. And it's what I think why your channel works is because you are real. You're just kind of a real dude. Like I said, I was instantly kind of drawn to you, even after, you shouted me out. And I thought, okay, cool, this guy shouted me out. But then I started watching your stuff, and I was like, okay, I dig this guy. He's, we could hang out. That's how I does everything. Like, Rod and I can hang out. So, all right, question 6. And so this is a question I've been asking a lot of people on here because I find the answers vary, and so I find it interesting. A lot of people like I grew up reading the big two, right? DC, Marvel, primarily DC. I'm more. That's just what was on TV here and all that. So I watched a lot of Superman and Batman and things like that. But you always had DC and Marvel, the big two.
Yep.
When you hear a lot of talk these days that people are kind of leaving those and really they're still reading them, maybe not as much, but they're still reading them, but they're going to the indie books. Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself doing that? And then why do you think that's occurring?
I do find myself doing that. When I do my the Thursday show, the Tag Team Thursday, I realize when I pick up my books Wednesday, I'll go through and I'm like, why do I have 6 indie books and 2 Marvel or 1 DC? To be honest, I've said this multiple times. I think I like something different from the regular Cape Crusader thing, and I'll pick up an indie book that's just totally different, away from all that. There's one book called A Home, and that book is very, very, very deep, and it hits a spot for me. I mean, I don't know if anyone of you guys are reading that book, but it's just you got the whole immigrant situation that we've seen recently where they separate the moms and the kids in the cages, and that book is just like that, but the kid has powers at the very end of the first issue. So I like something different. So that's why I turned to the indie books. And not only that, is you can reach out for an interview for an artist or writer creator from an indie company, and they'll get back to you within a second.
Yep.
I try to reach out to certain people at Marvel and DC, and I don't get a reply back. They reach out to David Mack one time, and he said, "I'll get back to you. I would like to do something." But it haven't got back. I mean, these guys are big; they're busy,
Right, sure.
But when you reach out to the indie people, that's absurd.
Thank you.
And then when you reach out to the indie guys, man, these guys want to hang out with you. Next thing you know, they're in your group chats on IG. They're talking about the same books you picked up, and it's just a good time reading the indie books and hanging out with these indie guys, man. So yeah, I think a lot of people are leaning towards indie recently, man.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I find myself doing it too. When I do my first appearances and key issues show on Tuesdays, if you look, my top 5 list is generally over half indies because the stories interest me.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm still going to buy Superman. I'm still going to buy Batman and Spider-Man because I love those characters and they're iconic to me, and I want to keep up with those stories. But the things that truly interest me today are as much the indies, and the writing's better. In a lot of cases, the writing's just better. Like, I'm not a big fan of Marvel's writing right now. I think a lot of their titles are trash. My 2 favorite ones are Daredevil and the Immortal Hulk. Those are the 2 that I'm really reading. I buy Spider-Man, but I don't like it. It's boring, but I buy it because I like Spider-Man. Superman was good. A lot of people didn't like the Bendis run, but I like it. I thought it was good just because it's Superman. But yeah, no, I'm the same way, Rod. So, all right. This question I want to ask, but I feel like it's kind of a dumb question in a way because something that I've learned in this YouTube journey is it doesn't matter if you're white, you're black, you're Hispanic, you're purple. It doesn't matter. Everybody has a general love for comic books. And I've said it 1,000 times over. If the world behaved the way the comic book community does, all the diversity, all the differing opinions, all the different way people look, if they behave, the world would be a 10 times better place. So my question for you is, like I was talking to Chris, the comic vet, he's from Canada, and I was kind of interested to know if it was different in Canada. So, in the Puerto Rican community, the Hispanic community, like how important are comic books to that community as a whole? Do you know?
Well, to be honest, I did not know like a lot of Hispanic people were into comic books until like within this last year. Because when I first started this, everyone that I know that was into comics were just white people and a couple black people. But now it's like I'll see my chat and I see people talking in Spanish sometimes, and I'm like, where did this come from? And I was telling my wife this the other day. I was like, I can't believe how many Hispanic people are in this comic book community. I found a channel. It's called Empire Comics, and he lives not too far from me, about 15 minutes away from me. And I'm like, what the heck? I mean, it's a good feeling when you see the whole community, but not only that, but when you see your people in this community, it makes me happy. Number one, because it's like in anything, it just makes me feel good when I see something positive, whether I see it in sports, or in anything, because especially in sports too, because it's not often that a Hispanic player that gets real popular. And the next thing you know, it's like, damn, that makes me feel good. We are doing something positive. So in the comic book community, I see this thing where here we are. I mean, we could be doing plenty of other bad things out there that other people are doing, but no, we're not. Here we are in the community. We're growing together. And when I see my peoples, it just makes me feel good. And I see that we're growing together. So
yeah, no, and it's great. I mean, because it really is. Like I said, dude, where I live, it is literally 99.9% white. I live in the hills of Eastern Kentucky. There are no black folks. There's a few Hispanic folks around. There's no, it's basically a bunch of white people. And when I got on to YouTube, I started realizing, I was like, dude, these people are all cool. Like, we're all having a good time. We all love comic books, and I hate to get political, but it's just one of those things. I think that we have a lot more in common than we do not. And it is, I feel like they're trying to drive us all apart. That's my political spin. I always find it interesting. Like, did you know that the Hispanic community? So that's a great answer, because, kind of finding out to, on YouTube, as you kind of, the Hispanic community is kind of growing together, like you said, through the comic book and YouTube industry. That's great.
Yeah, I did not know, to be completely honest, that we were into comic books, and here we are. And I quick shout out to the Asian community too, because Asian Funk was one of the first channels I ever shouted out, and he was actually probably the second channel on that first video. And Asian Funk is by far he does some fantastic edit videos, and then it starts growing. I found Dank Comics, and I'm like, holy crap, I messaged him. I was like, what nationality are you? I want to make sure. I don't want to get it, twisted and wrong here. I'm Korean. I was like, man. And then here we are. We got this community, and you mentioned the Canadians, and I ran into those guys, and it's like we all started growing. Not only that, the UK. I did a show with a bunch of the UK people, and I'm like, man, this is just amazing. So it's not just, just to see the Hispanics grow, but then you put every nationality. It's just it blew my mind.
It did mine too, like legit. I mean, like the same thing. It blew my mind, like how. Because, like I said, we're pretty insulated here where we live. There's big cities around us, and I've traveled a lot. So, but it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And especially when I'm talking to people in the UK, or they're hitting me up in my chat, say, hey man, I'm in the UK. That's how far your videos are going. I'm like, oh, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
And like I said, it just tells me every day that we got more in common than we do different. It does not matter what your nationality or your race or anything else is. So, it makes me happy. It gives me hope for the world. So, question 8, and this is another question I've been asking everybody. Because again, the answer varies, and so I find it interesting. What do you believe is the single biggest challenge to the comic book collector today?
The challenge. I've said this before. You gotta stay in your lane. When I say stay in your lane, it is the money situation, the financial, because a lot of people want to just grab everything. And next thing you know, you may not have money for a bill. So that is the challenge, because sorry, it's there is a lot of books out there every Wednesday, and you want to get everything because you just get so excited. So that's the challenge for me. Sometimes I pick up a book and I'm like, nope, just put it back. That's the issue 1. Just put it back. You don't need to get into that. And that's like with Star Wars. Star Wars is hot right now. I can pick up Star Wars, but they got this whole new thing going where you got to pick up every book. So I don't want to get into that world. So you got to stay in your lane, man. It's hard. It's tempting, but that is the challenge for me. And I say to the community, that's got to be the biggest challenge.
I think that's a great answer, Robin. That's a different answer than anybody else has given me, man. So, I mean, it is, but it is a challenge. You're right, because, look, dude, I could walk into the comic book store and legit, with back issue bins and other things, I could drop $500 every time I go. I mean, I'm not, this past Thursday, was it Thursday? Yeah. This past Thursday, I went in and I've been grabbing books out of the back issue bin and putting them in my folder. And then so we finally sat down, and I think I had $400 worth of books that I had pulled. And I said, all right, well, here's $50, put it on layaway, and I'll pay for it as I go, over the next few weeks. But it is legit. That is a challenge. How do you like take it down to the books that you get, and then to make sure you can afford it? That's a great answer. I love that answer.
And it's hard, because then you find yourself, I got to cut back, I got to cut back. But then, there was indie books, man. The indie books come into play because you stop buying a Marvel book, you stop buying a DC book, and now you're picking up more indies. So like,
Yeah.
again, you gotta just stay in your lane, guys. Just be like, ugh, like, which ones do I really want? Do your research and be like, all right, I'm gonna try this book. If you got $25 to spend, it may not buy you too many, but you know, just budget your money and stay in your lane.
Love it. Great answer. All right. So the last two questions are basically softball questions. Okay. What is the book you would love to have that you don't have right now? Like, is there a grail that you're chasing?
Um, Believe it or not, no, I don't have anything that I'm chasing. I would like to have the well, the Miles Morales Fallout.
Ultimate Fallout 4?
Yeah, I have the second print. I would like to have that one, but it's not like something that I'm really like chasing. I got like the books that I really wanted. I got my Daredevil one. I got of course, my Grails Anonymous book, and I don't really have anything that I really really want. I haven't really thought about it. I'm happy with what I got, and most of the stuff behind me were just AOKs, and those were the books that I really wanted that people just listened to me through my shows, and they were sent to me. So I can't complain. I'm happy with what I got. I don't.
Awesome, man. Well, like I'm getting ready to start working on. I need to complete something. Like I haven't done that in a while. And there's no. Like I'm kind of like you. There's no like big grails that I'm seeking out right now. But I want to complete a run. That's part of the fun for me is to complete something. So,
Well, I do want to complete. I got of course, I want to get Daredevil Series 1 completed.
That's what I'm working on. That. Yes,
well,
and because I'm a big fan of Daredevil too. That's the reason I even brought it up because I didn't realize that you. I guess maybe I did realize you were a Daredevil fan, but like I'm a big Daredevil fan. Always have been, and like Superman is my guy. But as far as it's really like it's like Forrest Gump. It's a box of chocolates. It's hard to pick which one you want, right? So it's like Superman's my guy, but I love Daredevil. Always have, and the biggest writers have been on Daredevil over the years. And then the Chip Zdarsky run right now it is the most underrated run going. So I love Daredevil. So that is the run that I'm working on right now. I just started.
All right, so I'll go through my books. If I have any doubles, I'll send them to you.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I'm working on Marvel team ups, Spider-Man Marvel team ups. I'm missing maybe 20 books, so that's another series that I would like to complete. The Grails, I'm nah.
Well, I'm like you. I've got the Daredevil one. I've got a lot of the big books. The big books that are big keys. I've got those. I just want to complete the run, and and so I'm gonna, that's what I'm working on now. So that's cool. Awesome. All right, now question 10, last question, and you may talk for 3 hours about this because you know so many channels, but I like to talk to the different YouTubers, and I want to know what you watch. Like, what are the channels that you actually like? I was talking about, Lame Frame is a show that I have to watch. Casually Comic Sunday Chat is a show I have to watch. In the Mix is a show I have to watch. Like, those are shows that no matter what, I watch. So who are some channels that Rod the Rican watches?
Oh, man. And this was one that I was sitting there. I was like, oh, my God, what do I watch? And I got to watch some comic movies. I got to watch some In the Mix. DJ Links, that's my homie.
He's killing it.
These are the questions that put you on the spot. Be the comic bro. Name that character. John Comics with Kids Saturday morning. What time is it? 10:36. Got about an hour to go to watch him. Got to watch Jennifer Will Break Your Hearts on Sundays. Every now and then I'll jump on Jim Mint. It's on Sunday too. I watch him. I watch some Comic Time. Watch Two Brother Comics because these guys, every time you go through your phone, there's a video popping up every second. I'm just like, God, how many videos these guys put up?
Well, there's two of them, Rod. There's two of them. They can double team us.
Oh, that's exactly it, man. Asian Funk, just because I like his qualities of his videos. Perry Comics, gotta watch
Dude's
some
hilarious.
reaction stuff every now and then. I know I'm gonna leave a bunch of people out.
That's okay. I mean, like I said, it's just different stuff. I find it interesting, and also really the reason I ask is I'm looking for other people to go interview. Right? Like, who are the cool channels that Rod watches that maybe I need to go talk to? Like Perry's one of them. Perry's on my list, and we haven't been able to get hooked up yet either. But I got to talk to that cat because I want to know what it was like to start out as a comic book channel and end up being something completely different. You know, like he blew up in a completely different way.
Well, that's how it happened because before, like I mentioned earlier, Buyer Pass, that show started, and it was weird because Edwin and Comic Negroni and Perry were always doing their edit videos, and I was like, guys, I don't know what to do. They would always say, Rod, just go live, just go live. So I would always do live shows. So those two guys were always doing edit videos. So one day, well, me and Edwin were always going back and forth commenting on videos. I'm like, Edwin, you gotta come on my show. Let's do something. No, I'll think about it. I'm not into the live stuff. So it was one Tuesday afternoon after work. I told my wife, I'm going live. I'm doing a show. She goes, what are you doing now? I said, I'm doing a show called Buyer Pass on the books that drop tomorrow. What we want to buy and what books we're going to pass. And Edwin's like, what do you mean? We're doing this now? I was like, yeah, we got 30 minutes. We're doing this. So we like grab a piece of paper. We're writing down the books we're going to buy, the books we're not going to buy. And this is when we had Google Hangouts. This video was it was funny to watch. You got to watch it. So me and Edwin, we're live. We're like, yeah. And we're just like, what do we do from here? So then Perry jumped on, and that's the history of how we got into comics, especially with Perry. So then when Buyer Pass ended, Perry went his own way. Like I said, we kind of parted, and Perry just one day just dropped a freaking movie video that had like 10,000 views or something, and then Perry, it was on.
Well, his reactions are priceless, though, right? I mean,
Oh man,
they're priceless. It's so much fun to watch. And I did mean to comment earlier on the question we were talking about the different nationalities and comics. There is Biggie Shack, and he is kind of his own thing. He's kind of his own nationality. Biggie Shack is that different. And he actually doesn't live that far from me. He's a guy that he and I are going to hook up one day. He doesn't live maybe 45 minutes to an hour from me. So I'm going to go hook up with Biggie Shack. But Biggie Shack is his own thing. He's not Hispanic. He's not white. He's not black. He's Biggie Shack.
He's Biggie Shack, man. That's it, man.
I meant to throw that in there earlier, and I forgot, but I thought it was so good I had to say it.
Yeah,
so.
You got to get him on your show, man. That is a character, man. He's a nice guy. He's a very nice guy, and he's just a different character. You either love him or hate him, but that's it, man.
I love Biggie. He's cool. Well, Rod, man, I really appreciate you coming on. I've had a ball getting to know you a little better. Like I said, dude, I enjoy your channel. I think you are a phenomenal member of the community. You have a great heart. And like I said, man, people like you and the people that I've met, during this YouTube journey, like I said, it just gives me hope for humanity and things like that out there because of the love and the compassion and just the friendships that I see in the comic book community.
Yeah, man, for sure. I really do appreciate that. Quick shout out to the community. I mean, like I said, half this stuff back here, actually most of these books back here were A-OKs. I mean, and when I look at all this stuff, I'm just like, wow, man, I can't believe the community really do dig me, man. And quick shout out to you guys out there. Thank you.
Awesome. That's a great way to end it. So, guys, we appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us for a little while. As I always end these, I want to ask you to go over to Street Level Hero LA. Use that code STC10. If you go over there and you buy something, you get 10% off your order, but 25% of your overall order is donated to the American Cancer Society for cancer research. Very important cause. It's been going really, really well. We are going to continue it on for a period of time. So go over there, STC10. Guys, what can I say? The man, the myth, the legend, Rod the Rican. 10 questions, Thank you all. Go subscribe, hit notifications bells, hit the like button, all those good things. As always in these. Till next time.
Peace.